So welcome to this segment of Straight Talk. Today I'm with Jim Welch, who I recently was introduced to by Patty Ollinger with GBAC, a division of ISSA. And so Jim, I believe you've known Patty a while. And anyway, it's good to see you today. Hope you're doing well.
Doing exceptionally well, thank you. Yeah, Patty and I go back a few years. She's a rock star in the world of biosafety. Glad to know her.
She is, that's for sure. I
Absolutely.
believe you spent part of your day today doing some mulching
I
around that.
did. I wanted to beat the heat this morning. It's about 95 degrees here in Northeast Tennessee today, and the humidity's out the roof.
Yeah.
But I got my task done.
I bet
I took a very long shower too when I got through.
Well, we're on video, so I wouldn't know. But
Yeah, okay.
yeah. But you know what? Mulching is a project I don't think anyone really enjoys.
No, my wife is, part of the COVID-19 thing about being stuck at home is finding all these things to do around the house. It's been nonstop. And the latest is a landscaping project, which involved a good deal of mulching.
I bet it did. Yeah, I noticed in my neighborhood, there's never been a better looking yards or cleaner cars since all this happened. So.
That's it. That will be, when the aftermath of all this comes and we look back, these will be the things that we remember.
That's right. That's right. Well, we got to keep busy. Well, listen, let's get into what we're going to talk about today. In your biography, it mentions that you retired in 2018. Good thing, because now you have mulch to take care of at your house. But you served 19 years as the executive director of the Elizabeth R. Griffin Research Foundation.
Right.
So that's a nonprofit organization that works with biosafety and biosecurity, I guess, around the world.
Around the world. We actually started working in occupational health and safety with people who work with non-human primates. Is the origin of the foundation. And the people who work with non-human primates are at that upper level of medical research. When the SARS outbreak occurred in 2003, one of their members came up to us and said, what you really need to do is expand and go into the world, particularly where they were doing high containment research. He said they're building planes and they don't have any pilots, so you need to get into biosafety. I said, biosafety, what's that? So I made some new friends and got on another learning curve very quickly.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty cool career, nearly 20 years of that. Now, what we're going to talk about today is something, it's a statement. I think we've all heard the statement that hope is not a strategy. I think that's something.
Right.
But you have something that's called, it goes like this: faith without strategy is a wish.
Faith without strategy is a wish. I have to first give credit to a man named Greg DePriest, who I first heard say that statement. And I can't find anybody else who said it.
Okay.
So I give him the quote there. But it encapsulates particularly what's going on now. And I retired away mostly from the world of emerging infectious diseases, just stayed in touch with it peripherally, and wanted to get involved in public education in my home. So I ran for school board and won an election to do that. And the emerging infectious disease thing just chased me right in here. But we had been working in pandemic preparation for a long time. It was just a growth from going from working with people who work with non-human primates all the way up to the highest levels of research around the world. And it was a very fascinating career. I got to meet some of the most brilliant people and dedicated people on the planet Earth. And I still enjoy their friendships.
Okay. I know one of the things that you're concerned with is with schools.
Schools, absolutely.
And reopening. In fact, you have, 5 grandchildren, and they're all of school age?
They're all of school age. Every single one of them. Every single one of them had their school year disrupted last year. Wherever they were in school, whatever grade they were, it was a massive change. And I think one of the things that we came to realize is how important education and schools are to American society, particularly to the economy, and the role that schools play is far beyond now what we just think of reading, writing, and arithmetic. And systems now are community states are encouraging the schools to restart. And so this was part of the discussion of the faith without strategy as a wish. Had to do with everybody wanting schools to start but not having strategies. And of course, one of the big problems is that school systems have no experience whatsoever in emerging infectious diseases. or preparing for them, or other than when they have flu outbreaks. So this is a whole new ball game. This is the first time anybody can remember, pretty much in the history of public education, that we had to close schools down like this.
Yeah, I know it affects the kids and the teachers, but also the parents and everyone involved with children. You know, everyone's working from home, or a lot of people are working from home now, and they have kids at home. So which is a secondary issue. Obviously, the kids being in school is more important. Well, I tell you what, I know you wrote a nice article we're going to run in one of our ISSA publications that outlines some things schools should think about. And you mentioned they don't have experience in this. Maybe you could mention a couple of those you think are of top of mind, some of those things that these folks watching this who are involved with schools and school systems might consider.
Well, first of all, reach out to experts. You know, I don't even know if that's in what I wrote, but you need to contact experts, particularly on the maintenance side and the risk assessment side, and screen those people who are presenting themselves as experts, because it's coming out of the woodwork right now. But you need experts in biological safety, people who know how to do risk assessments, and people who know how to create standard operating procedures to deal with it, both on the human behavior side and on the personal protective equipment side, on what kind of chemicals and things you should use to clean and disinfect. Those are all new things for school systems to consider. And the idea that we have to screen people for symptoms before they come into our buildings, exactly how we're going to do that, and how to set up a classroom to mitigate the risk. It's important to remember all the way through this that there's not a school system in the world that could guarantee that they can keep COVID-19 out of their schools. But what we have to do is find the best ways to mitigate the greatest risks, and learn from those, and keep mitigating on a constant process.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work with schools, because I know a long time ago when I was in school, you were packed in classrooms, the desks were touching each other. You know, it was 30, 40 in a classroom. And when I see some of these ideas of this fall, you know, they've got everything spaced out there 6 feet. And it looks like a fraction of what they might have had before.
Yeah, so many systems now, of course, are going to like a green, yellow, red as to how they'll operate, and the numbers of people in the buildings and all that based on the number of active cases per 100,000 in their community, whatever kind of type formula that they use to do that. But no, I was in a class of at least 36 there. I remember 6 rows of 6. And I always sat in alphabetical order. And if it hadn't been for Jenny Sue Ziegler, I'd been the last one in the row. And all that is changing dramatically. So that, and schools are, like everybody else, strapped resource-wise. So what do you do if you can only have 15 students in a class that you need to put 25 bodies in there? All these are new situations, and it's really kind of exciting to be in the conversations of people that are coming up with unique ways of dealing with those situations in their classrooms, and what they're looking at to mitigate the risk as the children come back. Yeah. It's another thing to note that just a clear parental expectation. For one, I don't expect schools to go back to what I would call the uber green, which is like what they were when the kids left, whenever they left in February or March. We're not going to see that this school year. So it's going to be something, it's going to be another year of adaptation. And hopefully by the next school year, we'll be back to some sense of normalcy.
Yeah. What do you mean by, you said uber green?
Uber green, like everything is good. It's just like it was, so even under green now, systems that are operating under green are doing temperature checks. There are things that they're doing. They're managing traffic in the hallways, doing different things in their cafeteria for lunches, supplies that they will have in the classroom, all that sort of thing. But one of the things that I really stress when I'm speaking with people who contact me about it is to what they need to think about is that managing for now is preparing for next, that what they're investing in now because of COVID-19 both in terms of equipment, in terms of training that they will be doing. All these sort of things will prepare them for the next pandemic. This won't be a surprise next time. It shouldn't be a surprise. There'll be no excuse for that. So even in my system, when I look at what our expenses are in terms of adding electrostatic sprayers for the schools and all those type of things that are involved in the additional training that we need to have our personnel engaged with, all those things are not, it's not just for right now. That's managing for the next time this happens as well. This is, if we don't take this as a lesson and realize the investments that we're making will help us not only in the next flu outbreak, but if another pandemic should come along in our lifetime, we now have something we're going to have a well to draw from this time, which we didn't this time. Right.
Hopefully memories will still be working when we get through this and something else is coming. But even when there's no pandemic, no issues, we want to keep things.
We want to keep things. We want to keep that. We want to keep that training at that level. We want to be able to go in that mode just as quickly as we can, so we don't have to immediately shut down next time when something like this comes around. If we had been better prepared, we may have been able to stay at it a little bit longer. I don't know. That's a hypothetical thing. But we simply had no preparation for it whatsoever.
Yeah.
No equipment, no training, no anything.
It was just here all of a sudden.
It was just here.
Yeah. Well, Jim, it's great talking to you, and we look forward to that article, which will outline some great steps for schools and what they can do. And, you know, there's a huge laundry list of things that I saw in that piece, and all important. So
there is a laundry list. Yes.
Yes, there is. Well,
and I probably left a number of things off.
We can always do part 2 if needed.
We always do part 2.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let you get back to the mulching, although maybe you're done for the day.
I'm done with the mulching, Jeff, and I'm even done with the Zoom for the day, which is good.
All right. Well, take care of yourself. Talk to you later.
Yeah. Take care. Bye-bye.